Oh, can you hear me now? Jaime? There we go. Yeah, dude, I was being stupid. I replied to you and I forgot to unmute my mic on Melt. I'm using a different software to dual stream, so I can stream on YouTube and Twitch. But yeah. Anyway, I was saying, yeah, I was thinking about bringing it back, but then I remember all the bad things, that I didn't like about it. So I appreciate you missing my 3D content. I mean, you can still see my models on Twitter, I guess. But also at this point, like I'm so behind on versions. I'm still using 3.3.
역시 여신의 더러운 냄새가 나는 건 참을 수가 없다니까.
That said, I'm still more than happy to talk about 3D. It's still where we're currently doing. 3D has been such a significant part of
생각보다 잘
for the past 6 years.
조금만 더 힘내봐.
Yeah, I'm not worried if it changed so much. I keep up with, I mean, I don't keep up with it anymore. I kind of stopped after like version 4 point something.
뭐가
And
좋아.
how's it working, by the
뾰족한
way?
바위에
Is it
넓고
too high? But yeah, I kind of like stop following it, and every now and then I hear about new versions because some friends tell me about it. But yeah, I haven't really cared too much about that. But yeah, dude, like I'm still more than happy to talk about. Is it better now? There you go. Should I repeat what I said? Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm just gonna let her kill me. But yeah, dude. Like, sadly, dude. One of the things that burned me out the most out of uploading content to YouTube was the fact that YouTube believed that I was stealing the content from someone else, even though mainly what I was doing was streaming here. And I had to upload a video recording my face, telling them like, "Hey, it's me, it's mine," and showing them how it's mine. That's just something that I don't really want to have to deal with. That plus, all the other things, all the copyright strikes and all the what do you call it, content limitations, all the limitations that they were putting on my videos. It was just annoying. Would have had to change the content that I was making, and I just didn't want to do that because, like, well, it's my business. Okay, where you at? I think I'm gonna have to level up before I can actually kill these lady. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to work on things. All right, so let's exit. But anyway, again, thank you so much, dude, for saying that you miss my content. Really appreciate that, and I'm really sorry that I can't bring it back. One of the reasons why, like, well, the main reason why I thought about maybe bringing it back is because YouTube sent me an email saying like, "Hey, we're gonna take away your partnership because you haven't uploaded in a long time. So you either upload videos or." And I can't really think of what to do. Oh yeah, like I've been on and off of streaming for different reasons. Like this year has been a little bit rough, and there's been times that I've needed to step away. But now I'm trying to stream every single day, and for a few days now I've been meaning to also dual stream to YouTube. But I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. I just wake up, I hit go live, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't go live on YouTube. So yesterday I finally set things up, and well, we're back to it. You know. So right now I'm gonna be playing this game. Um, what does that take to dual stream? Just me clicking a button. That's all. Because I don't have dual stream set up on my OBS, and I already have it set up on another streaming software called Melt. I just was using OBS instead of Melt. That's all. I believe OBS now has the option to dual stream. I'm not sure. I cannot remember them implementing it, but I haven't really checked. But there's a software called Melt. As in like melding two things, Meld Studio, and basically it allows you to dual stream without much of a hassle, really. Yeah, I definitely need to go do that. I think the way I'll do it is, did I already heal? Yeah, I've already healed. Gonna go raid. And gonna do a few runs of this one. Sadly, it's a little bit long, but hopefully we get some good runs. Or some usable runs. But yeah, all it takes is just me clicking a button. Will you ever teach Blender one-on-one? No, but the main reason is because of the versions. Again, I'm not using any newer version of Blender. That's it, you know. And things have changed so much that there is no point of me, teaching someone how to use an old version. Just to then have to figure things out on a newer version, where things are not the same. You know. That's basically it. That plus the fact that I don't know, man. I feel weird charging people for for teaching them. I don't like it. But also, I'd have to set up a filter somehow. Not to mention that I am taking time of my day to teach someone. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like a weird situation that I feel like I need to charge, but at the same time I don't want to charge. So. Uh oh. Oh boy. It's not the software I worry about. It will be having a teacher looking at my models and give me instructions on how to improve. I mean, you can do that, and well, I mean, I suppose like in this case, if you have a teacher, it's you kind of respect their opinion, so you will more or less follow what they believe, what they say, follow what they say, as opposed to joining a group where you're gonna have a multitude of people telling you, hey, this is wrong because of this, and that, and they're not going to be an agreement, right? They're not going to be like all of them agreeing on the same thing. So I can understand that, but at the same time, it's yeah, it's basically a thing that I just don't have it in me to charge for that. But at the same time, I do feel like I need to charge. No, 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 please don't die. Ow. 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 But actually, dude, like, at the end of the day, the one thing that you really need to improve is practice. I didn't have anybody saying that my models were good or bad because of X and Y, you know? You gotta trust your ability to do something, and, yeah. And I know, I understand that some people do want or need someone to tell them, you know, to show them a little bit of a little bit of guidance. But ultimately, again, you have to be honest and be aware of what you want to do and how you want to do things, and you can't let other people drive that thing because they have a different conception to what you know, different conception of what it should be to what you do. I'll be keeping an eye out for new content if you choose to make 3D content again. I'm not gonna make 3D content again on YouTube because of all the restrictions. Like, I can't tell you that much. I'm just not interested. Not to mention that I I burned myself out of 3D pretty hard. I think it was last year, at the beginning of last year. And last year was also kind of rough. It was a really rough year, business-wise, I suppose, you know? Career-wise. I don't know if business is the word, but career-wise. And it made me change the way that I work and change the way that I do 3D. I'm not like back in the day, like 2 or 3 years ago, I was making probably 2 models every single week. Now I'm making three models a month, and it's most likely like two, honestly. Making 2 models a month and then prepping an extra one for printing. So I'm working significantly less because it was either that or quitting or stopping entirely because I got to a bad place. So yeah, I'm still posting my content on Twitter for those that want to check that out. But 3D content, like using Blender and teaching people how to use Blender and all that stuff and do 3D, that's not something that I don't think I'm gonna do again, at least not on YouTube. Maybe on Twitch at some point if I'm bored and if it's like a special occasion, but yeah. How you doing, Vicious? What's up? My graphic designer strikes took 3D model back into 2001, 2003. I went on to work for television making commercial, didn't use 3D much during that time. I'm a graphic designer too. Twinsies! Should probably have a multi-chat just so people know that I'm not crazy and talking to myself. Because I'm dual streaming on YouTube. Let me see, can I add an overlay for that? I believe I can. Widgets, let's see, chat. Is it gonna be ugly? Oh, there we go. It's not ugly. It's okay. It's actually okay. I do have to edit it though. Where's the settings for these? Uh, where is the settings for these? Okay, there we go. Font. And then let's freaking hate this font. I don't know if that's readable. Text height, text color, alignment left, that's fine. Bottom up, animation. Sure, sliding, why not? Hide after after 30 seconds, I don't know. Okay, I don't like that font. How you doing, Vicious? What's up? How's the day been for you? Uh, do you guys have any font of preference? I'm just gonna go for this one. Anyway, I started teaching graphic design in 2012 on 3D. Instructor retired, and I took on his class that have serious imposter syndrome. We all have. We all do, dude. Do you think I'm good at what I do? I'm not. I don't think I'm good at what I do. I think I'm decent at what I do, and I can get by. But I'm constantly second guessing myself. That's one of the things that uh, holds me back the most. It's how much I second guess myself. That plus the fact that I'm trying to please as many people as possible because people are giving me money to do something, you know? But that's the thing, right? I once told a friend that he was complaining a lot about his work and what he thought of his work, and he thought that it wasn't good. And he thought that and I told him, motherfucker, shut the fuck up, because it's not up to you. It's up to everybody else consuming your content if your content is good or not. And I'm telling you, it's good. That's what I told to my friend. And there, we had another friend with us, and they agree with me because this person does good work. So it's something that you kind of need to keep in mind. That it's not up to you. It's up to the beauty. It's in the in the eye of the beholder. Is that what it said? Fuck. Okay, let me retry. So yeah. I'm gonna wait 10 more minutes. Can you please kill me? You know what? I'm not gonna wait until you do. Let me quit. So anyway, yeah, something to keep in mind, dude. Like I understand we all have like if you most likely if you do art in some capacity that it's more than once every few months, you have imposter syndrome most likely. We all believe that we're not good enough. We all believe that we could be way better. We all believe that there's people that are way better than us. That's the main reason why why I'm not really making content. Every time that I talk to people, like in real life, mind you, um, people are always like telling me, "Hey, it would be great if you made a podcast with you and your friends. I'd love to listen to you." Like I constantly am receiving compliments. I still don't fucking believe them, and I can't, for the life of me, conceive a world in which I have something like that and people actually tune in to listen to me. Which, hey, I've been streaming for 6 years and people keep tuning in, you know? But I still don't believe that I have something worth listening to. So we all have imposter syndrome. What I'm going to do is create models, action figures, rig, and animate them, and 3D print them. So animation and 3D print, I can tell you, I focus on one. I'm not saying focus on one forever, just focus on one. Um, for first. Okay, you said what do you say, Vicious? With wickety? Hold up. Wait, wingdings. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Is that a font we have? I don't have that font here, Vicious. And mind you, every single time, like if I go to VR chat, I like every now and then I go to VR chat to a JP English Exchange World to learn a little bit of Japanese or just to help people with English. And more often than not, I meet someone that ends up telling me, like, dude, it was great talking to you, and we end up talking for hours. But again, you know, the imposter syndrome, dude. We all have it. Well, no, we all, but you know what I mean, you know? If you do art, most likely you have it to some extent. And it's way better to have it than to not. Because the people that don't have it, oftentimes they just don't improve. Because they think they're doing great. Especially hieroglyphics. It was a joke. Oh, okay. Oh, I remember now. I remember now. That was my pastime back in the day when I was a kid. I mean, I assume it was yours too. Go into Word and just change the fonts. Just write something and change the fonts. Just to look at them. And let's not forget about war art. But yeah, I mean, like, what I can tell you is try to focus on one. Animation and 3D printing are two completely different um, approaches. And you need two completely different settings for both of them. And as someone that was working, for small animations and 3D printing at the same time, I can tell you, it's not worth it. Not worth the effort. I mean, like when you're learning, the struggle. Well, not effort, the struggle, right? Because you're gonna be struggling a lot. You're gonna be stressing out a lot about a. Oh boy, I died again. About a lot of different things. I don't understand, dude. Like every now and like sometimes they hit me so fucking hard. Um, you're gonna be stressing out about a lot of things, and the printing or the animating is going to be a significant limiting factor on the projects that you end up working on. Like there were things that I wouldn't work on because they wouldn't function for animations, and there were things that I wasn't doing for animations because they wouldn't function for 3D printing. So definitely try to pick one first. 3D printing is the easiest of the two, though, by far. It's the least time consuming out of the two options, I think. Right, can I please not suck? How was your week, Vicious? Yeah, I think what I need to do is actually get the other two in line to Kalin before I actually start farming for artifacts and equipment. Ouch. Too hot and too busy. Oh, did you guys get the AC? Or not yet? Right, can I stop being bad, please? See, now he's being stupid. And he still hit me. Alright. She'll be good. Okay, we're now good. Alright, good now. I didn't amount to create simple models and rig them, but personally would love to for them to 3D print them and design packaging for them. I'm building my own vacuum form for the class. I just bought my first 3D printing. Dope. That's a fun experience. Having the first 3D printing. They're still waiting on the work for that. Depends who will be the cheapest. Prices could probably. That's a wide range. That is a very, very, very wide range. The fuck, dude, is that what, like AC++? And that still hit me? Oh. Okay, I need to, No, no, no. Please, don't kill me. No, no. Okay, I'm dead. He's eating me out. Ouch. Oh, this is going great. This game came out the 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. I don't remember honestly. Hold up, Aima. Let me not die to this guy again, and I'll give you a reply. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, she's dead. Great. And this one's about to die. That's also great. And that was too far from the... No! No! I got greedy. Like I said, they were maybe too ambitious and try to teach them too much in 4 years. The problem is not so much... So, it's a fact that you have two different approaches. So it's okay if you want to do it by yourself, but if you want to teach somebody, like somebody else or a group of people, that it's going to slow your it's going to slow you down, right? The more people you try to teach at the same time, the slower the process is. And again, working for animation and working for 3D printing are two completely different processes. You can kind of make them the same, but it's not ideal. You know, that's something to keep in mind. 4 years, I don't know if 4 years is enough. I did it in 1 year. Okay, if I'm going to retry from this point, I might as well just go and finish doing the other things. I did it in 1 year, but yeah, confixes instead of I usually only have 10. Yeah, but that's fine. But you gotta remember that the class is always going to progress at the rate of the slowest student you have. You know? And another thing is, mind you, learning how to do things for 3D print, how to prep something for 3D printing, it's something that doesn't take that long. You can probably teach someone how to, like, I can tell you in one, like, I don't know, in probably 10 minutes what you actually have to do. The thing is that it's something that requires a lot of repetition to internalize a lot of the things that can go wrong with printing. And there's a lot of things that you got to keep in mind when it comes to 3D printing that you only really fully understand by printing yourself. So uh, that's more or less the problem. The reason why I say that learning animation and learning 3D printing at the same time is not usually a good idea, it's because you're going to be, um, if you really want to achieve really good end product, right? If you really want to make really good animations, if you really want to make really good 3D models for printing, you can't have the same ideas for both of them just to a certain extent, right? That's all. You can make them work. I just don't know if it's really a good idea to teach someone different ways, like how to. Let me structure this thought. I just don't know if it's a really good idea to teach someone that is just starting to learn how to do something in 3D printing, something in 3D, to try to make them understand about, topology and floating islands and thickness and all those things that come with 3D printing. You know, the best thing that you can do is to try to get them in one path, and then when they understand that path, offer them the other path and be like, "Hey, do you like this? If you guys like it, we can go this route." And then go that route a little bit. Again, teaching someone how to prep something for printing is easy. The problem is more or less teaching them how to actually think about 3D printing, how to go about it. Oh, but my voice is going. The fuck? Hold up, dude. It's getting hot. Let me turn on the AC. Or open up the window. Alright, I'm sorry about that. I come back. Now if what you're teaching them is just an intro to things, yeah, sure, why not? Go for it. And also, 4 years is plenty of time. Through the course of 4 years, it depends, right? Depends on the type of animations that you want to go for. But in the course of 4 years, you can actually teach someone to do both things pretty decently. Instead of more learn modeling and animation basics. Seniors create custom characters in animation, not like my seniors to have 1 semester of 3D. Oh, if it's just for seniors, then you don't have to worry about it. Like if it's someone that already knows how to animate and how to go about that business, teaching them how to 3D print, it's gonna be no problem. I was thinking that it will be for people that are just getting into 3D. Right, let's do Dana's quest. Critical damage increases when Chakras is summoned. Frost spikes rise and summon a point depending on the size of the ice club on Chaka's back. The frost spike still continues damage. Yeah, okay, let's get that. Anyway, yeah, at the end of the day, if it's for seniors, it doesn't really matter. If it's people that already know how to do it, how to work in 3D, you won't cause any confusion. It also depends on how fast they learn, really, and how much time they have available for something, and how complex the animations that they're doing actually end up being. Because if we're talking about like a mini movie or a short, you know, a couple of minutes, that could be a little bit time consuming. Now, prepping stuff for printing, I know there's people that take a decent amount of time prepping things for printing. Pay for a pre-recorded tips and tricks videos if you ever consider it. Again, the problem is, well, I mean, in that case, in the case of 3D printing, yeah, the software doesn't really matter. Mind you, I use both Blender and ZBrush for that. But honestly, dude, when it comes to 3D printing, like I can tell you right now, the main things that you need to have into consideration. You need to know that, you know, things need to be supported. You can't have something that is just floating in the air. And I don't mean supports when it comes to like did I say supports? Anyway, you can't just have things floating in the air. So if the character is gonna be flying, you're gonna need to think of a way to actually ground the figurine in a way that it looks like it's flying anyway. You need to learn, you know, how to not put things in the way of other things. Yeah. And you also need to think about, like, when it comes to slicing, you also need to think about, like, okay, what is this for? Is this going to be for painting? Is it going to be just for printing? Is it going to be for something else? Is this going to be for a big scale, like a big scale print? Like, if it's going to be like a, like, I don't know, dude, like a 60 centimeters figurine or something like that. You know, you need to, is it going to be a miniature? The process of thinking when it comes to slicing things changes a lot depending on what the purpose of the model is, right? Because if you want to, like, if the person is just going to have it in gray or whatever the color of the resin is, then you can take a few more liberties. But if you really want to make a good print for someone that is going to paint it, then you're going to want to separate a few things that might get in the way or make painting a little bit more difficult. If it's something that it's going to be for painting, but just a casual painting, if it's something that it's going to be for painting, but it's going to actually be for, I don't know, dude, like reproduction, right? They're going to be making a bunch of them. There's a few things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to all that. Now, if it's something that just for a hobby, then it's a lot simpler, right? You can just teach them simple things, and then that eventually, if they actually like it, they can look more into it and, learn a little bit more about it. Like 3D printing, just like animation, it's not something that it's too complicated to learn. It's just something that takes time because of how time consuming it is to have to wait for the thing to be done, right? So if you're doing an animation, you have to re-render a bunch of times. You have to, do a bunch of passes. You need to check it out. You need to do a render, and then another render. Then you see that something is wrong, and then you have to re-render. When it comes to 3D printing, you have to print something, and that something might take 8 hours to print, and then, it might fail, and it might be because you did something wrong, or it might be because, I don't know, dude, the temperature of the room was a little bit different. I'll be lurking, I gotta focus on food in the kitchen. Make me something, please, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet. Thank you. Harvesting rice, okay. Can I harvest, how do I harvest rice? Hello? How do we do this? So yeah. Oh, there we go. Nope. This is just floating. Great. What exactly do you want me to do, game? Unrelated, didn't you put Pepe, the frog head, on one of your waifus once? I don't think I did. I don't remember doing so. I don't think I did, because I don't like Pepe, but... I mean, dude, honestly, on streams, I will do anything, really. Okay, how do I harvest rice? Do I have to hit the rice? Do you have to burn it down? Like, what exactly do you guys want me to do? Do I have to cut it? Yes. Oh, the monkey, yeah. That I will do often. I don't do it anymore. Like that was something that I was just doing, of course, for the stream, right? But I don't really do that. But yeah, I even have like one of my first videos on like how to rake, how to do a quick rake in Blender. I believe the head of the model that I was using was Susan Nightmare Fuel. I did a few things that were Nightmare Fuel. I should still have a few clips on Twitch. And a friend of mine never forgave me for turning, what was it? So there were two things that I was doing, right? I would turn in legs into arms, and one of my friends didn't like it, and that same friend didn't also like that I turn feet into hands. I don't remember if it was feet into hands or hands into feet. But yeah, like streaming 3D for me was streaming 3D in, itself, right? The action of doing 3D was a little bit boring for me. It's not something that I was ever really happy with, because usually I work fast. So there was a lot of dead time. So anytime that there wouldn't be anybody to talk to, or there wouldn't be there was always somebody to talk to, but there wouldn't be too much interaction with the stream and the model. The stream was a little bit, you know, a little bit rough for me, because again, there will be a lot of dead time. And hell, a lot of the times in my streams, I will do anything but 3D. I will make a model real quickly, and then I will end up talking about something else. And not working. I need another rug, or maybe the teddy bear is gonna help me put this in this place. And get my chest. Yes, it works. Give me my treasure now, motherfucker. It is often the most I tend to find little enjoyment in creating. It's not that I don't find enjoyment in creating. It's more so than I will progress further than, like, there will be times that I will finish a model before the stream, or at least finish most, like, the 90%, the first 90% of the model on stream, and then it's like, well, I can't continue because I need to do things that Twitch won't allow me to do, and I also need to render, which, you know, I don't like rendering on stream. Where am I going? I have to go the other way. So I will get to the point that, you know, I can't keep working on this anymore. So now if I'm not talking to people, then I get bored. You know? It's not that I don't find enjoyment in creating. It's just that streaming 3D for me, since there was a lot of that time. And also, there's times that I just like things marinate. Most of the times nowadays, I like doing that. I like working on something, getting to a point, I don't know, whatever point, getting to a specific point and being like, I'm gonna let this rest for a couple of hours or maybe a couple of days, and I'll come back to it, you know? And then I'll come back to it and see how I feel about it. I had a student who was an amazing illustrator. Her artistic rendering was amazing, but she hated doing it. I don't think she hated doing it. I just think that she just, most likely she just had imposter syndrome. And she wasn't content with what she was making. ¿Qué pasa, mamá? Pues seguro. Also, one thing about me, I don't really think too much about being an artist or being a creator or being whatever. I'm just doing something, dude. I'm just wasting my time. Like, the only difference between me wasting my time or not, it's the fact that I get paid for doing what I do. That's the only difference. That's the way that I see it. ¿Qué pasa, gorda? My cat's being, like, needy right now, and I don't know why. I'm in the US, and you will steam during my class at times. I'd log into Twitch and have the class watch your content something. Really? You had people watching... Okay, Momo. You have people watching my content. What do you mean I will steam? Oh, I will stream during your class. Okay, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. Okay, Momo, your tail is in my face. I understand now. And what did they think? About the gigantic boobs. Gorda, pero ¿qué pasa? Hold on, give me a moment. Alright, I'm back. I am back. Alright, let's see. This is like I wanted to turn on my camera because my cat's being needed right now, and I wanna show that. Let's see. Can you work? I don't know if these ones work. How do I forget how to actually change these things? Is it these? Yeah, I think it's these. And like that. Are you gonna work? No? Okay, my camera doesn't want to work. That's one thing that I guess I need to take into consideration. What if I delete it? I don't want to delete it actually. Huh. Hold on a moment. I'm trying to show you off, alright? Yeah, okay, the camera is actually working now. Hi. Alright, there we go. Can I please? There we go. They were more impressive about that. How many cats do I have? Now I have one. I had two, but at the beginning of the year, one of them died. Hey, Polybits, how you doing? Okay, you're gonna do the scratch thing? There we go, because she wants more pets. I'm doing fine. I know it's sad, but I'm a little bit excited that today is going to be under 30 Celsius. Alright, we good? You can see my cat on Twitch but not on YouTube? Well, that's weird. Yeah, it's on YouTube. What the fuck? Alright, now she wants to fight. Momo. She gets upset if I don't fight back. Alright. That's it. Enough Momo. Hey Mugger, how you doing? Hopefully you didn't miss Momo. But yeah, I'm doing fine, Polowitz. Yeah, just chilling. Decided to finally use my brain and multi-stream. Oh, thank you. 57 months, Cody. What the fuck? Thank you, dude. That is crazy, dude. That is crazy. That is almost 4 years. You need to go back to doing that, to streaming or multi-streaming. Decided to multi-stream. Honestly, I'm not sure why. Because I don't see much point to it. I got a notification from YouTube saying that I was going to lose my partnership. And you know, for the past few days, I've been trying to think of like, okay, what kind of content can I make? What can I do? Blah blah blah. And I don't like to make content like rushing content like people in the gaming side of YouTube does. Wait, Jaime, are you Keone? But but anyway, yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense. You can watch in whatever you prefer. Like you don't have to watch on on Twitch or like YouTube, whatever you prefer watch, it's fine. Um I'm just multi-streaming as an attempt to not lose my partnership, but I don't think that that's gonna work. Been trying to think about like what kind of content can I make, but I can't really bring myself to make any content. So I was like, okay, let's multi-stream and see what happens. See if something comes out of that. I'm a little bit preoccupied about other things too, which is making it a little bit which is making it a little bit difficult for me to actually decide on something. Make the channel about Momo. Cat YouTuber. Momo doesn't do anything like cute or special outside of being autistic as fuck. Like she doesn't really get the Sumis. she doesn't have any like funny quirk when eating or stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, I freaking died. Whoops. Like having she doesn't care about snacks. She's weird, dude. She's weird. Like the cute thing she does is that she's just autistic. That's all. And I say she's autistic because I don't know, dude. Like she's fascinated by the faucet. By if I open up the faucet a little bit in the bathroom, she just sits there contemplating life, looking at the waterfall. You don't mind supporting about? No, I'm just saying, in case you were wondering. Like right now, I'm not doing Twitch for like monetary gain or anything. So it doesn't hurt me if people want to watch on YouTube because there's no ads. It doesn't really affect me. In case anybody was concerned. Collect the what do I have? Goose feather. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. The game wants me to kill you. Okay, I don't want to kill you. I'm taking your kids and I'm taking your lives as well. All right. I am so sorry. This is the game. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, YouTube content, stuff like that. Oh no, Doug, I'm sorry. Don't attack me. I lost track of what I was saying. Stupid duck. Anyway. How you doing today, Mogaku? I assume you're done with the auto, I think it was called. Slept half a day because I went to bed at 5 in the morning. Let's go! You're not done with auto? Is it gonna be like with the other one that you're gonna show me the finished version? I'm not gonna see any difference. Because if so, I'm just gonna, like, from now on, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait until you tell me it's done before saying anything. Okay, let me heal up. Also, Keone, thank you for telling me about you showing my stream to your class. I think my wife's gonna get a, she's gonna get a little bit of a laugh out of that. In the good, and in the good sense. Never would have thought that somebody will show my streams to their class. I once was kind of offered a um, teaching job for 3D. I never followed through. Someone that I know, I think he was also teaching at this place, and you know he mentioned the possibility, the idea of maybe if I was interested. I was like, hi, it'd be dope, it'd be great, and I never followed up. Do it on YouTube? No, I won't do it on YouTube, dude. I'm tired. I don't want to. It's annoying, dude, to have YouTube every single stream, every single video be like, hey, your video's being restricted because of sexual nudity and sexual content and nudity and nudity. It's annoying, dude. Every single time that I post a freaking video. Hell, to this day, even though they're unlisted, to this day I still get like emails. I still get like, hey, this video's being restricted. Brother, the video has been up for 2 years. What the fuck you talking about? Nobody's seeing that video. It's unlisted. What do you mean it's being restricted? Maybe I could just critique your student models. The thing is that critique is it's a complicated thing. You know, giving a critique to someone that has no concept of respect for you, it's just a dick move. Well, maybe for you is the wrong words. Respect for your knowledge. So me offering critique that doesn't really know much about me, I just think it will be kind of rude. Not to mention that I don't like giving critiques without having an understanding of what the person was going for. Maybe it's popular tutorials, but making them shorter since Blender creators are taking 20 years to get to the point. As to this day, I still get videos on TikTok of people like, you know, Blender tutorial, blah blah blah. It's 9 out of 10 times they're so freaking wrong. But no, I don't want to do that, dude. I don't want to take somebody else's content and be like, hey, look at this, I did it better. No. Not to mention that the idea of making Blender content is dead just because of the fact that I'm not using any of the new versions. I'm using a version it's going to be, in a few months, 3 years old. So the idea of me making Blender content is dead just because of that. Without getting into, because there are other reasons, but without getting into other reasons, be the advocate for 3.3? No. No, I do believe that it's better for the majority of people to jump into the new versions of Blender. I just don't think that it's smart for me to move to any of the new versions of Blender because, from my perspective, from my workflow, they've just made it worse. But they made it worse for me, not for everybody else. And the main reason why I was ranting about, you know, the new versions of Blender when I was streaming 3D was because there were people around me that were annoyed at the changes as well. But anybody that's new, it's way better if you just be the Ethan Becker. Who's Ethan Becker? The name rings a bell, but I'm not. Oh, the dude. Her wife. His wife's name is Sheila, I think. Is that one? the political commentator. Well, I don't know what he's doing now, actually. No? Then I don't know who Ethan Becker is. I bring in local artists to critique my senior's portfolio. They have a mock interview as part of the... Oh, that's dope. That is dope. As long as they're, you know, down for it, that is dope. Again, I find like critiquing is such a touchy thing for me. Some have been hired. Nice. Like maybe someday I'll look into actually teaching other people. You know, in real life, not in or maybe through a webinar or something like that, but not through YouTube or not through some YouTuber who got popular fixing misconceptions in the 2D space. Since many people like to give you the run around for videos. Oh no, I don't really want to get into that, dude. I don't wanna put anybody on the spot, dude. I don't really want to be like, hey, no, so this motherfucker, what he's saying is bullshit. Don't believe a word they're saying. I don't want to get into drama wars with people. Especially because I have something that is very accessible for a low blow, which is the type of content that I make, which is a type of content that the majority of 3D artists that take themselves seriously, publicly, they deem as something bad. So it's not even something that I don't, it's not a drama that I want to get into. Because you know that if I make a video reacting to somebody else's or fixing somebody else's or calling someone out, someone is gonna use the fact that I make waifus for a living as a way to you know, to punch down. And it's not something that affects me. It's just not something that I want to get into. Rearranging my game room, and I love to stream myself playing retro games. I guess there could be a market for that, especially nowadays. But who will watch? I mean, who's watching me, dude? You know, you kinda gotta keep it, you know, keep it going. Like, I'm not making any content. I'm not uploading anything to YouTube. And in the past couple of days, since I've been playing this game, I think I've got like, I've 3 or 4 people that you know, aren't followers, have joined my chat. Some of them followed back, some of them didn't. But you know, it's, you just gotta do things, I guess. The thing with retro stuff is that it's the same thing with in social. Oh my fucking god, this thing's level 80. No, no. You know what? It bleeds. Fuck it. Oh my lord. There you go. So, sorry. Gotta be delusional to stream on Twitch since you and like millions of people are all doing the same retro stuff, but speedrun them. Yeah, you kind of have to find a niche. The problem is that the more niche the thing that you're going for is, the more you need a base community to start off with, right? So you want to join a community, you want to become a name, and I don't mean like a name, like a famous name. I just mean like you get up because so many people join a community that they never come back. You gotta become someone in that community, and you're gonna have people start noticing you as member of that community, and then eventually, um, you start streaming, you start announcing that you're gonna be doing something. Usually, small communities have like a stream section or stuff like that. And that's how you start getting people. But ideally, the main thing that you want to do, the easiest way ever to like get into making content online is to join a trend, you know, become part of something that's already that's becoming popular. Like for example, like the main reason why I got new people on my chat, it's because, mind you, this was just again, I think it was 4 people, and I've only seen one of them again. But it was because of this game. Because this game, it was momentarily trending, or is momentarily trending. It's nothing too big, but yeah. So what you want to do is the next time that a new game comes out or a new something comes out that you think that you might be interested on streaming and that you would like to play, join the trend, join stream, and maybe hopefully you'll find someone that'll watch your content. Half-Life speedruns. I've never played Half-Life. I don't think I've ever played Half-Life. Half-Life. Many streamers I've seen start as viewers that act in the community or a mod. Yeah, exactly. You have to start doing things that make people see your name. And be like, oh, look at that. There's Keone. Oh, Keone's live. I didn't know Keone streamed. Let's check it out. And then it's a very slow process. That's if you want to do it the only streaming way, because the actual way to stream and get viewers is to make TikTok or make YouTube content. That is the actual way that you get viewers. Been here for 57 months, but rarely chime in or caught it the stream live, so... I mean, that's true, but you gotta start somewhere. Like, I've been streaming every day for how long? Hasn't been too long, but what? Like, this will be my 2nd week of streaming every single day? And I'm gonna try my best to keep on going. You mean all the time? Yeah. And I've stopped by your streams because I know who you are. I've stopped by Polybit's stream because I know who he is. For example, there was someone, Fofamit. She was one of the first people that followed me, I think, here on Twitch, or that was around as a viewer. And I didn't know that she was a streamer until a year in that she rated me. And I was like, wait, what the fuck, you stream? And she was like, yeah, and she was a partner too. She just turned off the partner badge whenever she was in my chat, because she didn't want to. She wanted to go under the radar. And then eventually, once I learned that she streamed, I just started hanging out on, in her stream. Mind you, I'm not a person that hangs out a lot on stream. I just stop by, say hi, talk a little bit and then fuck off and just lurk. Because I don't like to take away from whatever the person is doing. Oh, she has a skin. Look at that. I'm cold beats. A poly beats. I don't get the joke. Okay. That's the important thing. Either you do you. Alright. So yeah, honestly, dude, right now making content is extremely easy. Not mentally though. Physically speaking, making content is extremely easy. Mentally speaking, well, that's a different story, right? Because I know how easy it is. I can just like open up my TikTok and then just get a clip and like out of these and post it, whatever, you know. But making content is really easy. Just upload something. Eventually, a community hopefully will find you if you remain consistent and you try to improve. You will find a community, or a community will find you. Try different things. Understand that you're not gonna make it big. Not even the first year, most likely. You know. Maybe it's going to take you a month or a couple of months to get your first few viewers, your first few, people to show up on your streams or your videos. But that's okay. It's kind of like a snowball thing, right? You start, and then as long as you keep on moving and you keep on going and you keep on like trying to innovate your like content, your streams or whatever it is that you end up doing, you're going to keep finding new people. That's the way to go about it. But the thing is that you need to be consistent and you need to be posting things quickly. You can't let yourself be held back by the fact that, oh no, this needs to be perfect. You need to upload something. I'd be like, fuck it. If it's not good, fuck it. I'm gonna upload it next time. Because guess what, right? The same way you think that who's gonna watch me, right? If I do something good, if I make something good, if you make something bad, who the fuck is gonna watch you? You know, you can use the same logic. So if either way nobody's going to be seeing you, the only way for you to, the only chance that you have to actually be seen is to put things out there. Mogaku has been uploading videos for the past week, and now, like, dude, the last one that I saw, I don't know where he's at right now, but the last one I saw had like 200 and something likes. I haven't had 200 and something likes on a video that wasn't a turntable on TikTok. So, but mind you, like I upload like when I was uploading, mind you, when I was uploading very, very not frequently. But anyway, are you seeing that you're getting more reach the more that you post, Mogaku? And if you make something that has an identity, if you make something that has character, people will attach to it. And then eventually, you know, if you post every couple of days, every few days or whatever, people are going to be like, oh, you know what? I kind of miss this guy. There's something that I'm missing that I've been consuming for the past 2 weeks that I want to see more of. You know? Or you can do what I'm doing. You befriend people and you be nice to them until they make it big, and then you try to latch onto them, and then you make them big. You know, once Mogaku becomes big, I'm gonna wait for him to shout me out, and then I become big and I never talk to him again. That's what I'm doing. Imagine if that was true. Just waiting for some of my viewers to become popular and be like, hey, remember me? It's payback time, motherfucker. The good old long con. Yeah, I'm just being nice because I'm waiting for you guys to be able to make it. How the heck you get so high level so fast? I play the game! Project 79. I don't I don't know, dude. Like, it's a gacha game. We've been playing gacha games for years, so I kind of know how things, you know, how to go about things. And I've been taking it easy, mind you. I haven't been no life in this game. I've been playing a lot, but I'm not no lifing it. Been playing since the drop. I'm lagging behind. What level are you? And what's keeping you back? Was your I'm sorry, Keone, was it Rattler? No, it was Fofamit. Dude, what do you want me to do? Hold up. What if I read? Throw the pumpkin. Okay. Where's the Where's the pumpkin? I hate this. Dude, this is something that I hate. Level 30, I'm just a bum, I guess. Like, what exactly have you been doing? Like, what do you think is keeping you back? Oh, okay. Dude, the visibility in this game sucks. Like, doing these quests, you can... not playing enough, duh. Doing these quests, Mogaku, you can clearly see that, that the game was not finished. I've been doing Monster Hunt, trying to get skills up and gear dungeons. So ignore gear. Let me show you something, right? I'm level 26. My account is level 26. I'm level 60 on Kalian, and these two are level 50. I'm working on getting them to level 60. Let me show you my equipment for. Don't worry too much about equipment. Ignore it, and level up your character and these skills. And also, get a weapon. The best way to get a weapon, honestly, is you... The best way to get a weapon, what do I think? It just progress through the story. Progress through the story, you're gonna get some of these crystals, exchange, and then awaken. No, not these. You're gonna get a few of these crystals, and then buy one weapon for your main character. And then eventually buy one for your second one. If you're using Dana or Cerise, actually, if you're using Cerise, you're gonna get her weapon relatively early into the game. At around, I don't remember when, quest. Hero. You're gonna get her weapon through these quest line. It looks like Tower of Fantasy or whatever that game. These games look like Tower of Fantasy. Dude, this is just like Genshin clone. But to be fair, like Tower of Fantasy is a Genshin clone. You were wondering where to get weapons. That is something that the game is terrible at. They didn't really work on the transition from gacha games to to a normal single player game. For that, and the way that you get weapons is you either go for... no, it's not hunt, my bad. You go for the world bosses, and these are not very good. And you get one at random. So you gotta go for the world bosses, or again, you gotta progress through the story until you unlock the tower. Once you unlock the tower, you go in there. This is like Memory of Chaos or Abby's in Genshin Impact, Memory of Chaos in Honkai. You know, this is kind of like the endgame content. You go into that whatever tower you want to go into, and you're gonna do stages, right? So the more... Just by clearing them, you're gonna get 20 of these, and the more stars you get, the more fragments you get. And then eventually you can get one of those weapons. And something that you really need to keep in mind is that the weapons that you get from the regional thingy, like this thing, like these weapons, you see that they have 56 attack base. Let me show you. If you go into exchange and then karma. Now these have 96 attack base. And then once you get the unique ones, these have 120 attack base. So there's a progression there. You really want to be moving from one to the other one. And, but yeah. I clipped that. I mean, maybe, hopefully, like that was under 30. I don't know how long that was. I'll check it out later. I clipped that and see if I can actually make a TikToks out of that. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Try to be max level. Getting to max level is very very easy. Max level at the time, you know, whatever your max level is at the time, because you're gonna be restricted by the story. Just do the XP dungeon, get XP, get to max level, and if you need materials, you can just like, for example, hero breakthrough. You can click on this thing and then just exchange progression, and you can get them from the shop. Oh my god. No! Kali and die. I forget that this thing doesn't get paused when you press escape. And also, it's not so much that the game was rushed. Saying that the game was rushed implies that they were working on the game like very diligently, and it is my understanding that they weren't working on the game very diligently. This game has been in development for a long time, and they've just had, from what I've seen, it's just really, really bad management. And the game, it is my understanding based on nothing because I haven't read too much about it, but from what I've heard through the years, the game has changed identity maybe about at least 3 times. What the fuck's wrong with you, Doc? At least 3 times, because this was meant to be Dragon Nest 2. And Dragon Nest 1 is an MMO. MMO instance-based RPG. And then eventually, I suppose at some point they decided, whenever they saw that Genshin Impact was the success that it was, they decided that they wanted to switch to the gacha model. And then eventually they took so long to actually get to somewhere that it worked, that Genshin Impact wasn't as good anymore. So releasing a game like this as a live service game in today's market, I think it's most likely, at this of this scale, I think it's most likely bound to fail. And I think maybe they saw that and they said, you know what, we gotta cut our losses and just wrap it up, make it a single player, and let's charge $30 for it. Or minor stuff of the game we have been delayed in. The delay wasn't that long. It was a couple of hours. I saw the I saw the thing on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh no," you know, calling them out and saying that they were horrible, that they were terrible developers and publishers and whatever, and that they will have to wait 2 weeks for the game to be approved. And it was approved within, I think, like maybe 5 hours. It happens, dude. Like, this is not the first time that I've seen that a game is supposed to release at a specific time and then it doesn't release it because of some conflict with Steam publishing side. Hey, Ra. ¿Cómo estáis? It's going good. So yeah, like I just I don't really see much Oh, I'm done? Let's fucking go, I'm done. I don't see much benefit out of giving them shit because of, you know, a few hours delay. What happened to the webcam? I don't want to turn it on. That's what happened to the webcam. Because let me see. I'll say hi to you. All right. Oh, another thing, project. But I assume since you haven't been progressing through the story too much, you must not have a lot of these. But if you go to exchange and Awaken, you should have plenty of these. Just buy a few of them and unlock a few constellations or whatever you want to call them. Awakening, I think it's called in this game. Just awaken your character to a to a certain point. This is a gacha game. It was meant to be a gacha game, but it's released as a single player game, one time purchase thing. It's $30. Or I think for you it might be like 15. So yeah, unlock these things, project, and that should help out as well. Enjoy the stream. Thank you for the advice. Anytime, Keone. I'll see you later. Stay safe. And yeah. Hopefully I'll see you later. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye. Let's see. What are defense penetration? Then we got coalitional damage increase, and then critical rate increases by 25. I think, yeah, I'm gonna... Hopefully his class likes my new content. I mean, dude, I do think that I have, more often than not, good takes when it comes to, video game opinions. So I guess my stream could actually be good for someone that that teaches video games. I only bought one. Then I thought about it's not gacha, so yeah, I'm gonna buy more. I was waiting, like I knew that I was going to have full access to like everything that I wanted, but I know that they're going to be time gated by me progressing through the story or not, or like how fast I actually do it. So I wanted to make sure that I like the characters before I actually invested into that. And like I've unlocked almost all the characters. And so far I haven't seen that we use these for anything else, so I'm just gonna buy 4. Cause at this point I'm gonna stay playing with Dana. Okay, Karma, let's swap. Like, look at these, right? 271. I think I should be able to get the other one to level progression, right? So let's see, max. Let's try to get it to level 40. There we go. 592. Same level. It's less HP, and less defense, but way more damage. And more damage, more gooder. How much is this? 20. Yeah, sure. Oh boy. I wonder if you could cut out the 3D part of my workflow and just work in Clip Studio. Something that a lot of people do when it comes to 3D and 2D is that they just have a dummy and they post it down, which, mind you, you can do in Clip Studio. It's just that the ones that you have in Clip Studio, you know, might have a specific anatomy that you might not want to work with, which I'm confident you could find a workaround. But if you already have a dummy in 3D, like, you know, in Blender, that you already use for your models and you're happy with the anatomy and the style that you're going for with that, you could just pose the character and just draw on top of it. Yeah, if you already know how to use Blender, just use Blender. You could even, like, if you like the colors that you're getting out of, like, Blender, you could just, again, post the dummy with very, like, a sketch thing, and then just finish it on Clip Studio. I've seen quite a few people work that way. Oh, this guy's layer. Okay. I need to study clone these past two models have made me realize I can model the clouds in depots, but when it comes to boats, my brain just turns off. Then becomes gravity and how all that works. Just understood. What is it called? I don't remember what it's called. I think it's pressure points. I'm sure if you Google, like, if you search in Pinterest something, yeah, if it's pressure points, you just need to understand the idea of pressure points and try to mimic the movements yourself in front of a mirror. That's what worked for me. Then, of course, you know, the deeper you get into it, the more, okay, well, now I need to understand how sweat works. I need to understand how cotton works. I need to understand how, you know, jeans work. I need to understand how latex works, because they all behave differently. The pressure point principle, it's the same for all of them, but how they deform is going to be different depending on the material that you're going for. But, I mean, those are things that you kind of get into by doing more of it, right? Dude, this might sound silly, but I'm actually genuinely a little bit happy right now, because it's chilly out. So I have my window open, and I'm so happy that it's not fucking hot anymore. I mean, it's gonna be hot again, but today it's not gonna be hot. And I know it might sound silly, but I'm so tired of summer. I feel like I function at 20% during summer. Oh, Project, if you're still there, one thing that is going to set you back eventually is money. Like right now, I'm poor. I don't have any money in this game. At least last I checked. So you're gonna have to be doing side quests and the mission. There's a daily mission that gives you money. Well, there's a bunch of them. So the other day I was looking for your Twitter because I was looking to see if you posted your promi. No, not yet. I'm gonna post her maybe. Let me check the dates. Maybe Monday. I don't like posting over the weekend. And also, I like to prep for printing before I actually post them. I like to have them ready. No, I didn't. At least I don't know if I did. I don't think so. Oh, never mind. You can farm money decently here. 100k. Never mind, dude. What am I on about? I never paid attention to look at the M's. Okay, let me look at the M's. Oh, yeah, Rush Cassie. What? uh, what is that an AI description of my model of what I did? Is that what it is? Yeah, dude. Like every now and then I feel like I felt both bad and good because sometimes I think I remember seeing some of her takes and it's like, oh no, oh no. So at times I've been like, yeah, I think it's funny that people sometimes mixes us up because we're both named Rushila. But sometimes I also feel a little bit bad because it's like this poor person. Every time that someone like that, she looks at that, she searches her name, she's gonna see my models. They probably have they blocked me? I don't know. They seem to post other people's work without description. Yeah, but like it looks AI. It sounds AI. Hero. Let's go for you. Karma. Progression. Max. Uh, by the way, dude, the more time passes on, the more inclined I feel towards AI. It's like I don't wanna like I hear people doing shit with cloud, and I'm like, maybe I can use that for something. I haven't done it. I just feel more inclined towards. Uh, but yeah, it was funny. It's always funny. It's like, dude, it sounds good not having to worry about this specific task. I like the idea of Cloud as an AI assistant. it helps with personal stuff, as in my mom is a bitch. Please help tell me how to. Please tell her to shut up, or as in like, hey, I need to send this email at this time. I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing. Okay, I actually need to farm a little bit for these things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy the 4 that I'm gonna need. Let's go farm these things actually. Let's go do one run of these. But honestly, dude, I haven't even looked at how Cloud actually works. I've heard the news about Cloud. I have friends that use Cloud. My wife, I think she's been thinking about it because she's learning coding. She's learning how to code. And, you know, everybody recommends using Cloud. But me, I don't know. I haven't really looked into any of that. I know that you can automate some things, right? Like, hey, every day send this message to these plays, you know, and say these every single time at the same time. Cloud? Yeah. But anyway, what about a Spotify? I don't hear the difference, dude. Like I can't I don't anytime that I hear that people talk about Cloud, to me it sounds like Cloud as in Cloud as the cloud in the sky, or Cloud for Final Fantasy VII. No, Cloud from the like the AI thing. To me, they all sound the same. But I get it. I just know that when I'm saying Cloud and AI, I mean, uh, I mean the AI, not the Final Fantasy VII character or the things in the sky. Cloud. It's like cloud, 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 cloud. I don't know, dude. Cloud, cloud, cloud. Cloud. No, I can't. I don't know, dude. Unless I'm saying it like cloud, like that, I can't. Oh, cloud, cloud, cloud. No, I can't. Just know, dude. Just know that I'm talking about. You know. I don't hear the difference. Okay. And it's not even because of, oh, well, you know, yeah, you haven't lived your whole life around England. First of all, at least 25 years. Second of all, I've known Cloud from Final Fantasy VII since I was little. I've known Jean-Claude by that. Claude. Claude. Is that Claude? Is that it, Claude? There we go. I just had to say Jean-Claude and then. I just had to say his fucking name. Clot. Okay, clot. It's like a clot, like a blood clot, but with a not a T at the end, but a D. Okay, fucking English, dude. Anyway, Spotify made an AI called Spotify Labs, and what, you make music with it? No, I didn't want to retry. What the fuck? A retry? No, no, no. Get me out. Alright, there we go. These are the one I want. There we go. You want to transplant things, make podcasts, or just make a playlist. Oh, I like that. I like the sound of that. Ow. The fuck? Why do they hurt so much? Okay, maybe this was a bad idea. Why do they hurt so much? They're on level 50. Hello? Okay, maybe I do need to work on my equipment now. And now she's dead. Great. It's early access and I think it's so ugly because it's a whole other app that opens with... Oh, okay, then I don't like that. If it was inside of like Spotify, that'd be great. Now I don't want to reg. I want to exit. Let me exit. Hey, hopefully, like, soon they actually get to a point where the AI assistants actually work well, without too much of a hassle, and it has no... Oh, say it with me. I want to break free. I want to break free. I don't have any more. I need to go farm some more. Everything is getting AI though. Yeah, like I'm okay with getting assistance. I think that's great, right? The idea behind Claude, I think it's great. It's fantastic. It's super fun. Um, the only honestly, I don't know, man. Because I even feel like AI videos, they have a place. Like I thought, mind you, I didn't really care too much about the whole FIFA thing, the whole World Cup thing, but watching the AI videos of Messi and Florentino, whatever his name is, like the guy from FIFA, the bald guy, it was pretty funny. And those videos wouldn't be there if it wasn't for AI. Now, it sucks that people have to pay a bunch more money in the electricity bills and stuff like that because they live near a data center or near a place where they, where the AI company is located. But I don't live there. No, I haven't. I haven't seen any of that. Naughty Noyo remixes. I'll check it out in a moment. Let me kill this guy in. Clancor and Icor? I don't know what that is. But we'll check it out. Alright, let me get my rewards and see what's that all about. What's the name? Nori Nori. Okay. So I wanna check Nori Nori. Also, I wanna make sure that the music doesn't. Oh, it's gonna come through this thing anyway. Um. Okay. I'm just not gonna put it on stream. I don't want to get a copyright claim. Nori Nori remixes, right? Nori Nori core. Okay. I mean, I dig it. I don't dig it anymore. I was digging it until they added vocals. I I was, but it's not the AI voice. It's not the AI Japanese. It's the same thing with drum and bass. For example, drum and bass. I like drum and bass mainly when there's no vocals. I'm okay with some like voice lines here and there, but for the most part, if there's vocals, I don't really care too much for it. The singing kills it for me. It's not that it sounds ugly. It's that I'm here for the beats. I'm not here for a melody. I don't need lyrics out of like no. Exactly. I just need my anxiety always like soundtrack, original soundtrack. That's all. That's all I need. Give me my anxiety noises. But hey, the clanking, I liked it. It's like listening to vocals, lyrics is its own activity. Um, it is its own activity, but also I usually try to ignore lyrics as much as I can because anytime that I listen to them, I just lose respect for the song. I've lost. I still listen to them, mind you, but I've lost respect for some bands and for some songs and singers just because I listen to the lyrics, especially like heavy metal stuff. It's like you can't be screaming and talking about this at the same time, dude. Like you can't be screaming and jamming like crazy at the drums and the guitar and it like this freaking crazy solo and be like, yeah, people can't afford housing. And we should do something about it, so let's pray to God. Can we not? I just want to jam. How you doing, Dweller? Oh, I need more. No. Let's do another run. Dude, I have a situation. I'm already stressing about it with my mom. That she said to she threw out the idea to come visit in September. And I'm already stressed out about that. Mainly because I have to. From Venezuela? No, no, no. She's in Chile. But yeah, like I have to buy the tickets. And I have to figure out what to do with her, which I haven't decided. What to do with her when she gets here. And I have to talk to my brother too, to see exactly what his availability is gonna be. And I don't mean like going out and, you know, sightseeing. I mean like, what exactly am I gonna do with her? Like, where am I gonna put my mom in? Because, like my apartment is not like great to have guests over. But also, I don't want to just rent an Airbnb for my mom. It feels weird. It feels bad. Not money-wise. I mean, like, I feel bad not taking her in. Yeah, yeah, she's coming to me. Because my brother right now, my brother is in the process of buying a house. Well, an apartment. No, 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 I'm not going to. No, my mom, she moved to a new place and she was showing me the new place and he's like, well, now we have an extra room and then now in this room you and your wife can stay there whenever. She didn't say wife, she used my wife's name, but you know, you and wife Sheila can stay here whenever, you know, you come to Chile. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna cut you out right there. I'm never going to Chile. It's that simple. I'm never going to Chile. It's no reason for me to go to Chile. I'm never going back to South America. No. Not only it's more expensive for me because I will have to take me, I will have to take my wife. Uh, I also don't want to. I was like, I much rather paid for you to come here, and she was like, okay. So now I have to figure out what to do with that. And what about Momo? Momo will go with us. Like if we travel anywhere for longer than a week, Momo is coming with us. What the fuck is even in Chile? I do have family in Chile. I have a cousin in Chile. I have a couple of friends, you know, close friends from Venezuela in Chile. Uh, of course, there's my mom. Ascension. 20. Holy fuck, dude. Never hear anything about the place. There's airwaves. Honestly, me neither. Honestly, me neither. Breakthrough. But mind you, like if I go, I don't care about sightseeing. So even if I go to whatever place I go, I don't want to go out sightseeing. If I go out, it's because my wife wants to go and see something. But me personally, I don't care about that. I care about eating and I care about hanging out. Those are the two things that I care about, and that's all I really want to do anytime that I go anywhere. I just want to eat and hang out. I don't want to go to see whatever museum or whatever the fuck building has been around for I don't know how many years. Wait, how many do I need? 14. Go look at a rag that's been there for 2 million. Just, yeah, dude, I don't know. I have Google. I have Google. I can, if I want to see something, I'll just Google it. No, it's not the same. You have to be there. Do you really think that I want to be in front of the fucking Niagara Falls with the vertigo that I have and the panic that I'm gonna be like suffering because I feel like I. What if I jump though? No, I don't want to be in front of the Niagara Falls. I don't care. It's water. I have water in my bathroom. I like to visit out countries. Is the tourist at least? Chile got some recognition in last few internet years. I don't really know, dude. I'm not a person that's too big in architecture. I'm not a person that's too big on nature. So honestly, I just want to eat, and I don't even want to eat fancy stuff. I'll be like, if I go, I don't care where I go to, dude. If you tell me like, hey, you have to go around the world, what do you eat? I'll just go to the nearest Burger King or McDonald's. That's what I'm gonna do. I hate the idea of trying out new places because I never know if it's gonna be good, and I hate paying for bad food. I wanted to go to Nicaragua to see family till I saw there was a flesh-eating virus going around there. I mean, but how bad is the situation though? How bad is really the situation? Do I get money out of these? Freaking goal. Are you gonna kill me? Goal. 60 people are in hospital. I mean, dude, it's okay. It's okay. It's like saying I'm not gonna go to the United States because of the explosive diarrhea thing that is going on right there, right now. You know, goes and dies. Well, if you die, you don't have to pay any more taxes, so like, it's okay. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to suffer through summer anymore. Like, it's nothing but upsides. And when you really think about it, is this so bad? Like, the only real part about dying, in some cases, is the process. Sometimes it's painful. And we don't wanna be, you know, we don't wanna suffer. We don't wanna go through pain. Do I get money out of these? I don't get money out of these. Okay. Scam? Yeah, dude, big time. Yeah. If I go somewhere, Momo's coming with me. We went to Valencia for just, I think it was like 5 days, and I was stressed the fuck out. Mind you, that probably has to do a lot with anxiety, you know, and shit, which, mind you, I forgot. I have to learn how to use other words. By the way, I forgot. You know, like my tests, like the medical tests and stuff like that, everything came out great. I don't have anything on my kidneys. I'm perfectly fine. My blood tests, they came out great. Everything is in actually perfect values. Kind of feel like I sound like Trump right now, but yeah, I'm doing fine in all department. Well, what's that pain though? So when I got that and I you know, I searched like, you know, the possibilities. I googled the possibilities, and it's like, well, you know, there is a possibility that they could just be hurting because it was, you know, your kidneys went to some kind of trauma, right? So they take a little bit to actually recover. And like by now, I don't really feel anything anymore. It was just my kidneys recovering. Like when you think about it, right? If you get hepatitis, like your kidney takes something like, I don't know, like 5 years to fully heal. And even then, it's not. I mean, yeah, eventually it's the same. Like when I got hepatitis, I like drinking alcohol after a few years. What was the trauma though? The pressure from the bladder and the urine going back. Because if you hold for long enough, eventually the you know, your pee goes back into it, and that's how you can get infections and shit like that. But anyway, thing is, I'm doing fine. But also, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about that. When I went to you know, get the ear blockage removed, my my wife was talking to the nurse because the nurse was like, well, since we have you here, let's get your shit going. And do you have any, I don't know, dude. Are you under any like medication or whatever stuff like that? And then eventually was like, do you suffer from anxiety? And I was like, that question came out of why are you asking? Do I look twitchy to you right now? Why are you asking me about anxiety? I mean, I do, but what what does that, what does that have to do with anything? But yeah, my wife then eventually asked the nurse like, okay, but like so, she goes, yeah, am I twitchy or something? But my wife was like, so since we're in the topic of anxiety, right? He also suffers from depression a lot, and they come and go. There's kind of cyclical, every couple of months he goes into blah blah blah, and eventually she was like, also, is there a way that he could get tested? Because he displays some tendencies, in the spectrum. And I'm just looking at my wife like, are you for real right now? But yeah, we talked to the doctor later. He might be autistic. So we want, is there a way for us to check that out? Because he might be autistic. And but yeah, we talked to the doctor and I do have an appointment. The appointment is for November. Late November, 2020 something. I don't remember. When I got the appointment, I was like, well, good thing I'm not about to kill myself. Good thing I'm not suicidal, because damn. But yeah. I mean, she talks for me a lot in like these sort of things, because she stresses about my health a lot, a lot more than I do. Because she likes to believe, and with good reason, she likes to believe that I undersell things. Because oftentimes I just undersell things. I can push through things, I have no problem just going through the shit. So, usually she whenever it comes to those things, she tries to, actually sometimes she even elevates the things that I have. She even exaggerates a little bit. Alright, I think that's enough. And then I'm gonna need more money. Money, 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 money. Probably never go to the doctor if it wasn't for her. No. I will go to the doctor. Whenever, because I know whenever I can take something, I know, and I will eventually go to the doctor. Like for example, the going to the doctor to get a checkup for the kidneys and stuff, it was out of my initiative. Like yeah, my wife, she had been like telling me, hey, once we come back, we have to go to the doctor. I was like, let's wait it out, give it a week, let's see how we feel about it. It could be just recovering, just me recovering. And I don't feel bad right now. The pain hasn't come back. If the pain comes back, we'll go. But if it's not coming back, eventually the pain didn't go away, so that's why I scheduled the appointment. Well, that's why I asked her to schedule my appointment, because she has the social public health thing. She has my information in her phone, because I don't have it in mine, because I need a new card, and it won't let me input my information anymore, so she has my whole session there. But anyway, the ear blockage, I wasn't gonna, because it wasn't really bothering me, but my wife wanted me to get it checked out, because I did wake up a couple of weeks ago with vertigo. And mind you, it turns out that yeah, it was a big blockage. I did have it, just I didn't realize that it was affecting me. Oh, skill. I need money, right? Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of money. Money, 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 money. But yeah. If it's just for checkups, yeah, probably once every 10 years. But if I'm feeling bad and it's not going away, and I don't know what it is, I mean, dude, I will go to the doctor. Yeah. No questions asked. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you know. In probably late November, whenever it happens, what the doctor says. Even since now, dude. Like 4 months away, 3 months. I don't know how long away. November is 11. We're month 7. Yeah, 4 months away. My wife is like, "You're gonna tell them, right? You're gonna tell them the things that you feel, right? You're gonna tell them that you feel anxious." She's already making a list of things that I have to tell them. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. I mean, I do know that I suffer from anxiety, and I do know that I suffer from depression. And quite frankly, like if I'm being honest with you, I'm just going for, I don't know, man, like just so my wife has like validation or something like that. Because I don't think they're gonna fix me. I don't think they're gonna offer anything that I already don't know. That is gonna make me feel better. Because the times that I've been depressed, I've known why I'm depressed. Now, it is true that, the reasons why I might feel depressed or anxious, they affect me more than they should, but I'll see you right back. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Probably gonna need, what, about 250 pairs? I'm gonna need about 750k. Not to mention the one that I'm actually gonna end up needing for to upgrade the equipment. How much money do I have? 435. Okay, we're back. Actually, before I leave, let me get my rewards. Okay, we're back. Alright, I'm back. Got a protein shake and some kiwi. Oh fuck.
내가 없이 완성될 팀은 아니지. 준비해, 잡고.
Oh, what the fuck did I farm then?
저는 허가된 마법만 할 수 있으니 알아두십시오.
What was I farming for? Level 7 maybe? Okay, so I need to farm for these, and these is gonna be you. Hopefully we can do this one. It's gonna be a lot faster that way. Ooh. For some reason, I have a new message thingy on Discord, and I have no idea Why it's not going away. And it's really annoying. Let's see if restarting Discord will do. Didn't go away, right? Okay. All right, we're back once again. Yeah, me too. I'm back as well. I went to get a protein shake, some kiwi, and also open up some like windows to let some of the cool air in. It's kind of cool outside. It's really nice. Ooh. All right.
조심할 필요가 있는 건 나 말고 그쪽일 텐데.
And then she's down. I hated that she dashes in to do the tornado. Oh my fuck. Will you do enough damage? Okay, still got me. Good to know. No, I didn't. I jumped too soon. I'm gonna miss. I got donuts. Man, broke apart, leaving a bunch of borones. So I had to clean that up. How do you... Huh? How did that happen? Like, didn't you eat it inside the box or something? I don't know. Anytime that I eat donuts or stuff like that, I just have the bugs, like, you know? Holy fuck. I didn't see the boulder. Oh, fuck. And another one bites the dust. And another one bites the dust. That went great. Am I gonna play Boba Cafe Simple? I didn't even know that it was a thing, and I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it. There we go. Let's see that. Overwhelmingly, overwhelm, over. I can't, dude. Overwhelming. It's very positive. I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't think so. I don't like the simulator games. Let's go up to. I don't know if my wife wants distractions right now. She's trying to, she's just really try harding the whole coding thing. Ah, fuck, dude. And another one bites the dust. Just kill me. Come on. Thank you. The balancing in this game feels really, really weird. But yeah, right now I think the only thing that she's playing is Nika. Nikki, Infinity Nikki, not Nika. Nika is the Booba one. Infinity Nikki is the dress up one. Dude, how the fuck do I not see it coming? Well, the visibility in the game is not good. And you don't know either one. You do know Nika. The one with the boobas and the guns. No, I think that one's called Infinity Nika. And then Nikki is the dress up one. Yeah, I've made a few models of the characters, the waifus in Infinity. I was thinking about maybe playing it on stream, but eventually something else came up, and I ended up playing something else. Did I have a red dot on my Discord? It's driving me crazy because I don't know where the all my servers are muted. The only one that is not muted is my server, and there's no new message in my server. No, it's the like it's I don't know which server it's coming from. I already mark as rate. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I found it. For whatever reason, it was not showing. I found it. I right clicked the one of the servers and I found it. I had already right clicked a bunch of the servers that I'm in, and it wasn't going away. But you know how whenever there's a new message or something, right? There's a little dot, like gray dot, right next to the icon. None of my servers were showing that, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it's a bug. Like not the +1 red notification, just the gray one. It's not the ping. It wasn't a ping. Okay, now I'm gonna need more money. So let's get my money. Yeah, those are for muted servers. But the thing is that I didn't like none of my servers were showing that gray dot. None of the servers that even like the one that I eventually found. Yeah, me too. There's only one that it's actually. I just remember there's, of course, my server is not muted, and also another server that I made that I have with 3 other friends. That it's for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and very rarely we write something there. Very rarely we talk there. We just have it to share screenshots every now and then, or to comment about something that's happening. I need money, so money, 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 money. Currency, currency. Oh, 600,000 from the get-go. Let's go. Should probably rest my characters first, though. Go sleep. I already woke up. Okay. I woke up, I want to say 3-4 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago. No. I don't have any me to see through that pain. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. Oh, that was just difficulty 1. But yeah, dude, I don't have any meat to see through the pain of streaming 5, 6, 7, or 8, 10 plus hours. And with with not a lot of interaction. She'll watch these as you play. Yeah, let's not. I just read the title. Let's not watch it.
이런 곳에 시간을 허비할 수 없다.
Let's not. Also, is it okay? Is it allowed on YouTube for me to stream to YouTube and watch somebody else's video? I know it's okay on Twitch. It's because she does it. Alright, let's see if I can set it up. But let's not watch that video. Something else. Something not creepy, please. Having Hook on true crime, scary stories in background, I do stuff. This mumbles too much, so I couldn't watch. What do you mean? What? Chat, please, chat, please, chat, please. What? Ah, fucking excusing, dude. Is he diagnosed with something? Surely ADHD, but that mumbling, that I wouldn't even say that it's an. That's not an speech impediment, right? Because speech impediment is when you can't actually like properly pronounce the words. He just fucking he can't. He struggles so much to get a thought out. I wonder if it's just a stutter, and he hasn't gotten the stutter diet like officially diagnosed, and we're just making fun of his stutter.
내 불꽃 앞에 숨을 곳 따윈 없다. 자꾸 지금이야. 정리해.
I'll tell you what, Magakudo. We can do reacting content, but not to creepy stuff. You remember something? Okay.
마법을 너무 많이 썼네요. 저는 잠시 쉬겠습니다. 너무 오래 걸리지 않았으면 좋겠군요. 프로즌 모드 지나가겠습니다. 프로즌 스파이크! 앞으로 빠져나갈 수 없습니다. 정리해!
Let me go. The fuck's wrong with you? Oh, I didn't. Dude, yeah, this game has a huge problem when it comes to visibility. Couldn't even see that I was sitting in a puddle of poison. There's a chick that does sculpting stuff on Twitch, and was talking about urban exploring, and on stream we watched an urban exploring video and of her abandoned childhood home. It was surreal, like it got abandoned after they sold it, and she randomly stepped. Okay, so hi Momo. I mean that is random, but okay, what's this video? All right, let me see how to go about it. About this, about how to set it up in a proper way. Right. Yeah, it is random what you're saying, but I'm not sure. Nothing more to it. Just remembering it was cool. Oh, okay. I it just doesn't feel relevant to what we were saying. But yeah, I mean, it is random to find to find out that your childhood home has been abandoned. I guess. Where do I place this? I'm gonna add a new source, right? It's going to be game capture, maybe media source. Play the video of audio file. All right, maybe okay. We go for these, then we click this thing, then we swap these to out of bounds secrets, and we make it small. Woo! All right.
Pokemon Fire Red is really funny because it does have a walk through walls code, but it's one of the first ones I've ever come across where it does
Is that
allow you
good?
to walk through walls only to be stopped by more walls. It was very strange to me at first. I didn't quite understand exactly why this was happening. And then I looked into it further and I realized, oh, this is apparently because the walls that you can walk through are within the
Kinda
map
low?
itself. And although the game looks organically
Is
like
that
there's
better?
more to explore, Pokemon Fire Red is really funny because it does have a walk through walls code, but it's one of the first ones I've ever come across where it does allow you to walk through walls only to be stopped by more walls. It was very strange to me at first. I didn't quite understand exactly why this was happening.
Where can
I
I
looked
place
into it
this?
further and I realized, oh, this is apparently because the walls that you can walk through are within the map itself. And although the game looks organically like there's more to explore, there really isn't. If you look at it in a map viewer, you can see exactly where the edges of the map actually are. This is just a really neat visual effect that is masking the game's void. One of the easiest ways to tell what is the void for the game is by going into two completely different areas, because each map is programmed to decide what object is going to fill the void. Here, it's trees, but over in this adjacent area over here, it is cliff sides. So when you walk into an area
Why
where
not make it
there's
a cliff
already
side there?
trees,
Okay.
but you're inside of the area that has the cliff sides, you can see the void's trees getting replaced with cliff sides instead. So if this
Okay.
is how it works in Fire Red, how does it work in just regular old Red? Well, the game still kind of uses a lot of the same technique, which again is border tiles depending on which map you're currently in. And like we established, even outdoor areas technically have just one map that they seamlessly transition to. Except now you can see what happens when you step into an area you're not supposed to. In reality, the game just gives you a couple of frames of garbage graphics before it just completely goes white and then just crashes. So join me and my rival Scott the Waz as we basically take the camera anywhere we want and try to find secrets and new discoveries to some of our favorite games. And I should probably say, no, I didn't ask Scott to be on this video, though I'm sure he would have been nice enough to join if I asked him. And since we just named ourselves and we're still in Pallet Town, let's figure out where Professor Oak actually comes from when you step into the grass for the first time. Again, opening up the map editor allows us to see the triggers and all the other things for the game, but not only just see it, we can move it. And by moving the trigger, we can have the camera positioned in a way where we can see exactly where Professor Oak spawns before walking into the screen that you would normally get to see in vanilla. Now you know he actually spawns at the corner of your house, which realistically is only about one tile block off screen. Also for this episode, I figured I'd incorporate some stuff that I would normally put in my sister series, Sequence Break, because there are some really cool things in Fire Red here, and I don't want to have to force you guys to watch two separate videos. So let's ask the question, what would happen if you encountered a wild Pokemon without any Pokemon on your team? The answer, at least in Fire Red, you draw out a giant question mark on a target board. This non-existent Pokemon has 0 HP, it's level 0, at least in my case here, it was male. It also has a blank spot for a name that has no moves at all, but it also doesn't use Struggle, so it can't actually cause any damage.
Also, interestingly enough, if you avoid the trigger where you have to have your first Pokemon battle with the rival and then you do the event where you have to bring a parcel back to Professor Oak, which would cause your rival to come back into the lab, there's a contradiction in logic, and what the game does is not what you probably would think. Carrying on as normal while the rival is here shows that the rival, instead of spawning where he's supposed to, just does the same amount of walking distance from where he currently is inside the lab already, which causes him to do his own boundary breaking and walk off camera. Also, when the dialogue is done, he's gonna come back and spawn out right exactly where he was supposed to spawn in. So it gives us an idea of where he at least was supposed to spawn in and spawn out.
Also, something that's really cool, a big difference between Pokemon Red and Fire Red, is that if you try to talk to the Pokemon outside of Fuchsia City, outside of the Safari Zone, they don't say anything at all. In fact, there's
I don't
no
remember
trigger
that part.
whatsoever to allow you to speak to them. However, in the original Pokemon Red, if you tried to talk to any one of them, they would respond to you, but just with a singular exclamation point. In exchange, though, Pokemon Fire Red has some interesting information about Fuchsia City on its own right. Unlike the Pokemon original, where you can't really step through the door, in Pokemon Fire Red, you could walk through walls to avoid the guy that makes you pay to get into the Safari Zone. And if you do that, you can actually fight the Pokemon in the Safari Zone and just do traditional Pokemon battles without the Safari Zone rules. The fact that you talk to that guy and buy your way in, that changes the rules of the Safari Zone. Now here's the craziest thing. We already went over how most of the areas you can't actually get to because they have map boundaries and just go into the void. But not every single area follows these rules, mostly because in some weird instances, the maps are interconnected.
I feel what he's trying to say. I don't know if that's exactly the point that he's trying to make, but what I'm understanding is that they just did whatever they felt like doing. You know the developers of like these games. It's like fuck it, just throw that shit in there. It doesn't matter, and they weren't even consistent with the method.
So, for example, the gate that leads you into Viridian Forest actually has a neck of woods that you can clip through to get to the other side that has the gate for Viridian Forest. And yes, the same can be said for the original Pokemon Red as well, although you might notice that there's something a little bit different here. Up above, past the building, you can see a cuttable stick, as well as a couple of empty
did I kill?
tiles. There's a reason for this. It's because it's reusing the map data from the building that's up above it. See the two empty tiles and the cuttable stick? Whoever designed this map clearly just did sort of a copy-paste job with the same building. Also, it's worth noting that down here on the upper part, there's one of those jumpable slopes and some grass that's inaccessible to the players. You can also bypass Mount Moon in the same way. Having a walk through walls cheat and just moving over to the right will show you that the map is interconnected yet again. But here's one of the most bizarre things of all. There are two tiers to the cave, and if you go into the lower level, all of the areas that use the lower level are all in the same map space, so you could walk from one little underground area to the next, which is not something that can be said for most of the game. Also, for Saffron City, if you click through to reach it, you can see the map data for Saffron City, but none of the characters load into the town, and a lot of the areas are just buggy and don't actually load the map data correctly. It's similar in the original game, except for the fact that the NPCs do load in. Now, for the Diglett Cave, this is really bizarre. The map is way huger than you would imagine. I decided to show you in the map viewer instead of the actual game because it will probably give you a better perspective. But there are tunnels that go through the inaccessible environment that go long ways and just add to a level of immersion that you're just not actually able to see as the player. And Pokemon Red also has these partitions that seem to separate different areas, but it also allows you to just skip over it entirely by walking through walls. The only difference, though, is that I feel like these were put in for coding reasons. I'm not exactly sure why this happens exactly, but if you go to areas you're not supposed to without stepping through those partitions in Pokemon Red specifically, it sort of garbles the graphics of the sprite. Making Snorlax here, for example, I don't know what to make of this. But it doesn't just end with Snorlax, all the NPCs have a different look to them. Like this one right here looks like Temmie from Undertale. There's just all sorts of stuff going on here that's just absolutely ridiculous. And then there's the Indigo Plateau in the original game. Walking past the building will show you a whole bunch of messed up tiles, but the truth of the matter is that the map data here is in fact the Indigo Plateau map data that would be beyond the building itself.
The cave will be bigger. If they thought the cave will be bigger, then probably they would have just added more paths to it. And there's no like paths or secret caves. Like for example, the one that he showed before, where like around here, right? Like this area, you can actually see that they actually plan to have like patches of grass there. But in the case of the cave, there's nothing. It just
doesn't load in.
No path, no tunnels, no actual like places where the player is supposed to walk on. There's no tiles for, that specific graphic.
Correctly, which then causes problems. Beneficial problems, in fact, if you're no-clipping. See, if you load the map proper, the devs were a little bit cheeky this time around. The guards actually have a trigger to send you back all the way across the map.
Dude,
where they
probably whoever was making that cave spaced the fuck out while doing it. Or maybe he just built like the whole like cave and then eventually he started making the actual like walking zones. And they ended up having a bunch of extra cave that they weren't using.
To check you for your badges. So no amount of no-clipping would allow you to bypass this unless you did the route that I mentioned earlier about just going through the building itself and not stepping inside, because if you do that, then the triggers for the guards don't load properly. And so, technically, you can navigate through this whole mess of tiles to eventually find the door that can get you to the Elite Four. Also, before we go through that door for the Elite Four, here's what the map looks like at the very end, before that very edge that I've told you about earlier, where if you step on it, it's crash time. Here's also a really interesting fact about Fire Red and the original Red. The game heavily curates what position you are in when you talk to Nurse
You gotta make
Joy
it seem
to
like you're
help heal
actually,
your
you know,
Pokemon.
you're of
As a
value.
result, the sprites for the Pokeballs, as well as the screens that illuminate while they're healing, they're tied to your position. So if you were able to clip through the desk and talk to Nurse Joy in different
Holy
areas,
fuck.
you'd see that the Pokeballs in the screen will not match up with the bed and the TV screen, and instead just illuminate wherever it is in adjacency to your character. Also, it's worth mentioning that this is the only time you could see the back sprite of Nurse Joy. We'll show you that the game's developers went through the trouble of making graphics for this. Interestingly, though, Nurse Joy in the original Pokemon Red does not have a back sprite, and talking to her from behind
Okay.
shows that her back sprite is basically taken up by this bowing animation. Now, earlier we talked about triggers and all this stuff and how we had a map editor. So one of the things I wanted to check out was, can you theoretically get both fossils if you move the fossils away from the NPC that takes the other one? So I moved all the fossils away from this choke point onto these sides here, and I also, just on the super safe side, moved the NPC into a completely different spot. That way he doesn't walk to the same spot even if there is no fossil there and potentially take it. So let's see what happens when we do all of that and grab the fossil here. And sadly, as a result, he still has a pathway that he's programmed to go to, but it doesn't matter where he lands on that pathway as long as he just commits to the animation, and then after he commits to the animation, the fossil then disappears. Now for the SSN, there are two sections.
Ooh,
There's
spooky.
a section where you load the map for the SSN
And a
itself,
bit.
and then there's also just the pathway to it. And I wanted to show you what it looks like when you move past the boundaries and don't actually hit those trigger points to go from area
Alright, but
to
go
area.
to the
Starting
Mew.
with the
Go to
SSN
Mew. Go
map,
to the
you go up
truck
a
with
little
Mew.
bit, you
Go,
can
go,
see
go.
that there's not many tiles before it just kind of goes into ocean water. And in the other area that we mentioned a second ago, this is how far past that trigger spot is that would normally take you to the SSN. Also, where this path ends happens to also be the end of the map itself, so you'll hear the bumping sound effect here. Naturally, we had to remove the truck layer to see if Mew is underneath there, and wouldn't you know it, there is no Mew, but there is tiles for the
Ooh.
dock, so, you know, there is technically something underneath the truck. And for the original Pokemon Red, obviously the map room for the SSN already shows you the edge of the map. You don't need any special tricks to see that it clearly goes into the void very shortly after where you start. But I can still show you how far the dock goes here on the other map. I'll even let the game kill itself just so that you can see there's no way you can go any further than this. Then being on the SSN itself, we can walk around and show you just how much of the ship actually exists when you're on the top deck. In truth, there is not that much boat to actually see, and there's also not that much dock to
Okay, I can't
walk
actually
past
kill this
before it
guy.
ends as well. Some people also want to
At least
know
not
what
right now.
happens to the SSN when it leaves, because you're not usually allowed to go back into that map room. Well, the fact of the matter is that the SSN commits to the bit. When you try to go back, you'll see that the map is still there, but the SSN is nowhere to be seen. Similar to the SSN, there's also the top of this building here where you get the fresh water, and you can see that there is not that much building to this area either. One of the curious things that's in the original Red that's not in the remake, surprisingly, maybe it's just to remove any sense of whimsy or wonder, is that behind Bill's house is a pathway instead of just more cliff. Moving the character over there, though, can show you that it doesn't take very long before the kill void is right behind it. In fact, I would say it's immediately behind it. Next up in the menus, we got all the TMs and stuff, which look like CDs, and for this game in particular, Fire Red, they do this little graphic where you can see the TMs being pulled out of a CD case, which is really neat, and removing the layer that
course you
shows
grabbed
the
it.
case can show you what's going on with the CDs beyond the player's point of view. To start with, when no CD is pulled up, there's a weird multicolored CD that would never get used in the game, and it's not until you finally pull up a CD that a committed color is given to one of the TMs. Now, reflections are interesting in Pokemon Fire Red because this is something that didn't exist in the original game, but it did exist in Gen 3 with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. So for calm water that's not the ocean, you can see any NPC or character that goes up to the water surface. I want to know just how far does the sprite go when you remove all the layers? And much to my surprise, it doesn't immediately go away once it stops being reflective, once it's hidden behind the grass. You do get like one full tile of unseen reflection before the game removes the trigger to have that reflection there. Also, unless one of the 7 islands lets you do this, I can at least confirm that in the main game of Fire Red, you're never actually allowed to walk on a water surface to create a ripple effect like a puddle or something, which is something that is in Sapphire and Ruby. However, if you walk through walls and allow yourself to get onto the water surface, you can get that puddle effect that you see in those games. Here's another back sprite for you, Lieutenant Surge. Once again, you're not allowed to actually talk to Lieutenant Surge from behind, but if you do, here's a unique sprite that you normally can't see. Same thing for the gym leader, Erica.
You talk to him from behind and you get a custom, like a unique dialogue line that is like, "Yo kid, the fuck you doing grabbing my ass?"
Also wanted to give you another example of connecting maps. The cave that brings you from the power plant over to Lavender Town is fully connected yet again. Also, Lavender Town has an interesting
show you
rock
my red
formation
now.
underneath its tower. The base of the building has a very similarly angled rock formation underneath it. Also,
Alright.
unless you fiddled around with the menus, you may not have known that there was something called Poke TV with the Poke Dude, who gives you tutorials for your game. He has unique screens and stuff like that that you can't access in the game. And I wanted to show you what happens when you remove certain layers and see what's going on with the environment that he walks around in and how he interacts with it. When he walks off camera, he's actually like perpetually walking against the edge of the screen. He doesn't actually go away completely. Also, before he's called in for the first time, his sprite is stored in the upper left-hand corner. In fact, half his body's missing as it's completely into the void. And also, the bottom half of the screen where you would normally see all sorts of text and stuff, and hidden by the HUD of the TV itself, has some weird garbled graphics that, again, the player is not allowed to see. Also, by removing all these top layers, we can show you the environment that he walks around in full. That's it. That's all I got for now. Make sure you subscribe because the next video is going to be a Pokemon Gold and Silver region break episode. A lot of you guys love region.
Well, I'll check this one out.
It is great to be back. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a show where we basically take the camera anywhere we want to try to find secrets and new discoveries to some of our favorite games. And covering Pokemon Soul Silver Out of Bounds has been a ton of fun. The game oftentimes wants to pretend that it's in a 2D landscape, but
fuck, dude.
rest assured, a lot of what you're looking at here is made up with 3D geometry. Camera is a little bit finicky though, so I want to thank Jasper, who made the site NoClip. It's used as a resource occasionally here in this episode.
The map is actually
And
gigantic.
Also, of course, the animator Smash Tunes for making that intro all those years ago. I got links to them in the video description, and with that said, let's get started. So the very first thing I wanted to show you guys was something that is at the very end of the game. I know, but it's really fascinating and I didn't want to save it for last. There are hidden orbs outside of each of the Elite Four's rooms. Now 3 out of the 4 are identical to each other. They have like this white base with a little bit of blue swashed on it, and I can't figure out what the heck that was originally supposed to be, if anything. But one of the Elite Four rooms has a completely different texture that's just kind of slapped on there, and I can figure out where it originates from. It's the tiles that the character walks on, and there's this additional texture that's layered on top of it, and all that's on this orb. And you can definitely take my word for it. I looked at each individual pixel to see if it lined up with one another. So what you're looking at right now is the texture that's layered on top of this orb. Now, why do these orbs exist? I've got theories. One of them is that when you start the battles with each of these trainers, there's a special HUD graphic, and I thought maybe it was used for the special effects to be called in at a certain point. But that theory was somewhat debunked when you go into the last battle and there's no orb to be seen. So I think it's also possible that this orb was going to be originally used as some sort of effect that was going to be called in, but then the developers scrapped it to a point where whatever texture was supposed
Favorite
to be layered on
DS
top of this
Pokemon?
orb is no longer even used.
Probably
But
Soul
that last
Silver.
room that I was just talking about, what is inside there? Well, over to the right, instead of an orb, you can see 2 shadows for sprites, which is really bizarre. So with my due diligence, I played through the
3DS, I
entire
really enjoyed
final
X and
battle
Y.
with the camera panned out in such a way that when the battle's over, we can see if there's anything that goes on with those 2 sprites. And sure enough, the interviewer and Professor Oak get spawned in out of bounds, out of the player's view, and then walk up to the player. But that initial teleportation starts from out of bounds and then brings them inbounds. And that is not even the last instance of a character being brought from out of bounds. In so many instances, you can find story-based characters hiding in the woods. The first time I saw this was right at the start of the game with Professor Elm. Now, this is a particularly interesting case because this sprite, Professor Elm, never leaves this spot. Sure, Professor Elm does have story beats that demand his sprite be called in for the story, but for some reason, the sprite that's over in the corner there never goes away. And some players might be thinking, well, that's just the spawning point, you know, or something like that. Well, the reason why I find this all very odd is because this is the only instance where this happens. Other examples, like for
Dude,
example, your rival trainer,
silver being
do
there
have
like a
spots
creep,
where
like
they're
a
hidden
creep,
out of bounds,
silver or
and
gold,
once
whatever you
they're
want to
called
call
into
them.
the story scene, you can see them warp to the coordinate where they need to be.
Just being
In
a
fact, one of the
creep,
most absurd ones
waiting
is
for you to
Kurt
pass.
inside the cave of the well. After you defeat Team Rocket, Kurt does show up for a story scene, but the entire time that you're in that cave, Kurt is just sitting on top of a pond, one that the player can't access at this point in the game. And he's so far off screen that it was actually really hard to find an angle in which the camera wouldn't start clipping the environment. But as you can see, that's how it works. And to answer a couple questions, I know some people are going to ask, what happens if you try to talk to them? Well, the talked prompt does come up, but they never have anything to
What
say.
a creep.
And also, some people are going to want to know what happens when characters walk off screen. And I think the best example to show this is probably what's going to be the most sought after answer for that general topic, which is the 3 legendary dogs. Panning the camera out will show you where they go, and it's not too far off screen before they just simply disappear, and that applies to every single story beated character that walks off screen. But outside of NPCs, there are things to find out of bounds. To start with, the Dragon's Den. Oddly enough, there are 2 dragon statues, and I guess the interior designer wasn't thinking very well, because the most interesting part about those statues are not only not front-facing, but they're also wedged behind a room that the player
never
can't
liked them.
access. Taking the camera over there, though, won't show you the front of their faces, sadly, but it will show you that there are a couple of unused horns that are stored behind the wall for each dragon.
I have to say, in the main series, I think probably Black and White, it's my least favorite out of them all.
And the very, very end of the game, where you register your Pokemon into the Hall of Fame, the shrine at the top is hiding a cleverly placed dev cube, which is not too common in this game. There are a couple more. I will share those in a minute. In the Indigo Plateau, if we move the character out of bounds and start moving the camera, you can see that there are massive texture sheets for rocky ground. And using Jasper's
You never played a
no-clip
Pokemon
website,
game?
you could
I mean,
see
you're not
just how
really
many
missing
that
out.
are used and just how many that are placed. And what will happen if you actually walk on these plateaus? Well, it activates
Well, not
the
anymore.
game's mystery zone. This is one of the most absurd things I've ever seen.
You
but
probably
walk
missed
out of
out, like,
bounds
when you
in
were a
Pokemon
child,
Gold
I
and
guess, you
Soul
know, that
Silver.
first
The game
impression.
will take the time to tell you
But,
where you are,
you know,
and the
past
devs
that,
wrote
not
it out
really.
as the mystery zone. Now, in my search, I didn't find anything too amazing. It's still kind of incredible that there's so much reused assets that are just kind of stored out here, despite the fact that the player would never be able to get to see it. It looks really, really good when you see the entire game's overworld map in something like the No-Clip website, but outside of that, I can't think of too many reasons why this would even be here. But I will say thank you to the devs for making a next-level sense of immersion that's really fun and really interesting to show it off on a show like Boundary Break. But moving on from that for now, this is just something that is really rare.
The main reason to actually like that, I believe the main reason why Pokemon actually worked is because, you know, like it had an anime, like, you know, kids were already um attached to the idea of Pokemon because of the anime, and everybody wanted to have a Pikachu, everybody wanted to have a Pokemon, right? Without it, I don't think it would have worked as much because we didn't have that attachment, right? We didn't have that favorite Pokemon before actually going into the games. Could be wrong though. So if you didn't grow up watching Pokemon, but got to play Pokemon, it would have been 2 completely different experiences. My older brother had a Game Boy, so I just watched him play it. Right. Like in my case, in my brother's case, like we both of us, we had Game Boys, and both of us we had, you know, I got Pokemon Red, my brother got Pokemon Blue, and yeah, and then, you know, I got Pokemon Silver, my brother got Pokemon Gold. We were always playing together. God bless Piracy. I didn't get to play many games, but once, I think when I was a kid, I also break my PC multiple times when I was a kid. I mean, it sounds like something you will do, breaking your PC. Never went through that myself, luckily. Okay, I want to see if I can actually level up the skills one more time. But yeah, I don't think you were really missing out if you didn't get to play Pokemon. They're fun games, and if you like that genre, which mind you, I think to like that genre you first needed to get into Pokemon in the first place. But they're fun. They're an RPG, you know? You go, you catch the Pokemon that you like, you level it up, you maybe evolve it, you fight it with it, you're having fun. You're not really missing out too much.
조심할 필요
in the route just above
Forgot to hit
Olivine
play.
City. If you take the camera underneath the ground, there is a single tile that is still left in the game, and I'm not exactly sure why this would be here. Again, this is not something you typically see in the game at all. Looking underneath so many environments, most of it is just the void. But like I said, in this one area of the entire overworld map, you will find this one tile. Moving on, I wanted to talk about a couple of NPCs who have sprites for areas that the player would normally never be able to access. Like the first gym leader here has his back right up against the wall. You can't get behind him. But if we clip out of bounds and talk to him, you can still see that he has a backside. And the same can be said for the gym leader Chuck. As you can see, the rocks wedge him in such a way that the player should not be able to talk to him from behind. But courtesy of the show, we can show you
Oh,
what
look at that
would
ass.
look like.
Dude,
Here's one
the
of the most
body doesn't turn, it's just the head.
But
Oh, no, 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 it does turn, never mind. Kind of, it's the same sprite, but he doesn't have a belly button, it has a little bit more shade.
courtesy of the show, we can show you what that would look like. Here's one of the most bizarre things. Every single Pokemon in the game has a little bit more graphics than you would normally be able to get to see, as example by Cyndaquil here. And even stranger, these sprites exist in a 3D plane. The environment doesn't, but I can manipulate where these characters are by shifting the camera around. And unique to the battle sprites alone, if we flip these sprites...
Wait, but why wouldn't they exist in a 3D plane? I always thought they existed in a 3D plane. That was the whole point of the thing.
all the way around, and you can see the image is mirrored on the opposite side, something that cannot be said for the overworld sprites, which I guess is a shame because it does break the immersion that would otherwise be pretty well preserved by taking the camera down to eye level. This one room that you're looking at here has a TV, it has a countertop, it has a fridge, and it has seats and all that stuff, and the game wants to give you the illusion of it all existing in a 2D world, but as you can see here, it's all rendered in 3D, and it looks fascinating, and the devs kind of pick and choose what they want to be in 3D, which is kind of bizarre. Things like the seat and the Nintendo Wii in the main character's bedroom are completely flat textures, but the laptop, the bed, the staircase, those are all fully 3D. In fact, the laptop has a fully modeled backside too, unlike the television and the bed. Again, that falls into the category of particularly rare because even buildings don't seem to have backsides, which makes perfect sense. Before we move on from the subject, I just want to show you one last thing that's kind of fun. Here's Meryl walking around in a square-shaped pattern. I just kind of wanted to show you what that looks like from another angle. And in fact, just for kicks, I'm going to shift the camera back into normal view just so that you can see the contrast between what the developers want you to see and what you can actually see at eye level. We're going to keep things moving along by talking about the Sprout Tower. And this is another example where the building is modeled on all sides. And like I said, it's very, very unusual and uncommon. Just about any other building in this game is not modeled on all sides, but this one is. Maybe the developers thought that there would be a reason why it would be modeled on all sides for maybe a cutscene or something, but all you get to see in the game is a slight pan up that allows you to see somewhat of the tip of the building, never the back.
That's what you said.
Speaking of the top of buildings, I wanted to show you a couple that don't allow you to see the entirety of the building at any given time. So there are details here that you would never get to see as the normal player. Like the Poke Avalon Dome, for example. Even though this one pans opens up, you don't get to see all the details of the fire like you do right here. So some poor animator for the Pokemon Company went for the trouble of making a fire-breathing loop, only for most of it not to be seen at all. And here's an area that's really fascinating. Fully 3D trees, a large, fully modeled building, and even a half sky dome. This is all because Ho-Oh is supposed to show up in the gold version. And in the gold version, there's this whole cutscene where the legendary bird flies around the building, and all that's left in place for the player to walk through to get to the tower, making this one of the most intricately designed areas in the entire game. But to give you another example of
Intricately? I don't know if I will say
that's what I
that,
mean when I
but
say
sure.
most of the buildings are not fully modeled. This is the top of that tower, and this is used for a cutscene too, and yet even with this, the developers chose to keep the angling downward and keep you from seeing the back panel of this roof, because if you could, you'd see that it wouldn't exist at all. And even the walls for in between the roofs are modeled on no sides except for the front, since the camera does pan down well enough for you to see those bells that you're seeing on the building. And you also gotta love that L-shaped texture to represent the background. Backgrounds in Heart Gold and Soul Silver occasionally pop up from time to time. Like for example, the first gym here, it's a little hard to show you what I'm talking about, but it sort of wraps around the tower and you can see how it works. And then there's the lighthouse with a view of the town down below, and I just wanted to show you what that looks like out of bounds. It's a completely flat texture, and the way that it's represented is it has a couple of trees and some lights. And now let's talk about Lugia. Since this is the Soul Silver version, there's a special cutscene that plays when you summon Lugia, and before Lugia comes out, there's a flat sprite to represent the silhouette of Lugia, and all while that's going on, behind the rocky wall of the waterfall, you can see the 3D model of Lugia resting behind with no animation. In fact, we can see the exact moment in which Lugia springs out and is revealed to the player. And what's really cool about that is you can see the dev cube that is used to spawn in Lugia. The dev cubes in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver seem to have like a grid, almost Rubik's-like cube, and they can change the color of the faces at will, it seems. Now, if I was to walk into a town from out of bounds and not do all the necessary triggers to load things in properly, all the dev cubes that are supposed to have a function are all revealed. Like for example, this building over here is supposed to have a smokestack, and there's a dev cube way up top to spawn in smoke, and then down below is a trigger for when the player wants to go through a door. And the same could be said for the well. The well's just completely replaced with a dev cube, and of course what that dev cube is supposed to do is that when the player touches it, you go down into the well. It's really fun to see what gets spawned in and what doesn't. And now for another rare instance in this game, and that is rooms that exist in the same loading zone. You could probably think of many areas of Pokemon that could benefit from having a shared loading zone, but for Pokemon Soul Silver, the only instances that I could find of this are the entrances to the underground tunnel in Goldenrod City. And for me, the only other instance that I could personally find was this gym right here. So like if we take the camera over to the right, you can see like a silhouette of sorts. And in truth, those are the other rooms that are just unloaded, but there's some sort of effect that is just improperly loaded and left behind, so we can actually see that in plain sight, which is really cool. If we go into the next room, we can see that now that room is loaded in, and the silhouette of the room that we were in before is where it should be, in the center. Hey, you ever wanted to know what it would be like to be a Pokemon inside of a Pokeball? Well, you're about to find out. So taking the camera inside here will show you that the inside of the balls are fully modeled, because they do open at some point to give you your Pokemon, but it's such a brief scene that you really can't lock in and kind of grasp all the details that are inside the Pokeball. But as I'm explaining things here, you can clearly see all the lines and grids that are normally inside of that ball, and you have all the time in the world to breathe and soak it in. And also I just wanted to point out that the background for the Pokeballs rests on an L-shaped geometry. And speaking of other 3D geometries, when you're on the title screen of Soul Silver, you see Lugia just kind of swimming through the ocean. And I just wanted to pan the camera out to kind of give you an idea of the amount of geometry that's needed to pull this scene off. It's kind of difficult to show you because sadly no one was willing to make a field of view tool for me in the making of this episode, but if you can ignore the clipping, you can make out the idea that it's all kind of wrapped in a giant sky dome, and that there's a flat platform with a moving texture that rests below Lugia. And one of the things that I don't think is shown at any angle at any time is the sun breaking through the ocean resting above Lugia. And then I also want to show you that the camera can also move around when you're selecting an item, and you know that there's a 3D model representing where you're accessing your bag. Kind of an over-the-top detail for a primarily 2D-esque looking game. You can see all the details of the trainer that the game normally wouldn't allow you to see because the camera is so restricted. And now let's talk about a couple of cool little effects, one of which here, a blue texture underneath every small body of water. And what's funny is that the devs kind of messed up here, you can see. And so as a quick band-aid, what would accidentally show off the void a little bit is a second blue plane that's placed underneath the original blue plane to extend the amount of blue that you see. And that's just so that the water can have a bit of transparency on the top. Another cool effect is dark caves. Panning the camera out will show you that in order to pull this effect off, all they did was create a texture and place it in front of the game's camera, because
I mean,
otherwise
yeah.
the area is completely lit.
Yeah, of course.
And one more cool effect that I'd love to talk about is the reflections. On any body of water, really, you can see a reflection of yourself, your Pokemon, and anybody that stands above the water. And panning the camera down can show you that to pull this effect off, all the game devs did was create a doubled image of whatever sits above the water and then just place it flat in the game world, which is not too far away from the position of the player. The last thing I want to mention is not technically boundary break, it's more like sequence break. Any fans of the show remember that one? I really regret this, but I found out that at the time that you're supposed to get Lugia, if you clip around all the blocks that stop you from going to Ho-Oh, the cutscene for Ho-Oh plays out without the Kimono Girls and then freezes at one of these scenes with the bell.
Thank you.
But sadly, I did not think to record that. I mean, you kind of got an idea of what I'm talking about here. But anyways, I wanted to make it up to you guys by showing you another sequence break. Like, for example, what happens if you encounter a random Pokemon without any Pokemon of your own? And what happens is you get a level 0 nameless creature that looks like a sponge. It also does the shiny Pokemon effect, followed by the game saying, what will? And if you look at the bottom screen where there would be a Pokemon, there is a unique image of a question mark instead. And then instead of being blank, it's just a whole bunch of question marks, and it says, has R moves left? And then the opposing Pokemon will attack, and it says, but there was no target. And then it'll tell you that you're out of Pokemon, and you'll black out. Yeah, well, like I said, it's awesome to be back. Here's a small picture from my Alaska vacation. I got to see the Aurora Borealis. I'm super excited. Yes, Simpsons meme, put them down below. Thank you to Snipey and Ethan for doing an excellent job filling in my place while I was gone. I really appreciate you guys. And if none of this matters to you because you're brand new, subscribe button's on the screen if you want to click it. It'll help future
That's
videos show
interesting.
up on your homepage.
All right,
But
let's check
I got a
X and
Pokemon-
Y, and I'll probably call it for now. Let's see. Feeling a little bit tired, but also I could just keep going a little bit longer. I don't know.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 112 of an ongoing series where we basically take the camera anywhere we want and we try to find secrets and new discoveries to some of our favorite games. First off, I want to give a huge thank you to Smash Tunes for doing this week's animated intro. I love his animations. Make sure you check out his channel. He has a lot of content over there with also spectacular animations. Also, this camera was provided by Jasper. Jasper runs a no-clip website where you can
Is it me or the
explore
volume
maps
is kinda low?
straight from your web browser. So I'm going to leave links to that also in the video description down below. But here we go, folks, the first mainline Pokemon game on Boundary Break. I know for some of you it feels like you've been waiting 3,000 years, but the wait is finally over. And so, with that said, let's get started.
X and Y was a really fun game.
Okay, we're going to start off here at the very beginning of the game where Sycamore talks to you. And I gotta admit, unfortunately, the character seems to just kind of warp around, so there isn't a whole lot that is really exciting here, except for the mural that he talks about in just a moment is stored off to the left of him at all times. Also, this should probably not come as a surprise to anybody, but when you choose your gender in the game, there is these mirrors that are supposed to reflect yourself. However, if you were to manipulate the camera, you can see that the characters are in fact just standing behind an empty frame. And as for the cutscene when you finally start your game, this is where the fletchling starts compared to the entire layout of the room. And speaking of the room, the starting house is a very special case. Not every house that you visit in Pokemon Y is going to have all the rooms that you can visit visible. However, in your starting home, you can see that both the downstairs and the upstairs are loaded at once. And you might notice that there's a character way off in the distance there. Well, that's your player's avatar. And the reason why that player avatar is there is because that when you're upstairs, there is a mirror that the player can look at that is supposed to have a mimicking image of your character. And that mimicking image never goes away, so even if you're downstairs, your mirror image is going to be at the correct coordinate that would be the opposite of where your character is. Leaving
Yeah,
you
the volume
with
for this one is
Void
kind of
Boy
fucked.
here. And before we move on to the next area, let's do a zoom out of the starting area of the game.
Yeah, his voice is too low and the music is too loud.
Next up, we have this clip of the area in which you choose your Pokemon. Now, it's worth showing.
Yeah, I will watch this one. It's a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. Alright. Let's call it for now. I'll be back tomorrow. Once again. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging out. Peace out. Bye bye. How do I end the stream again? Hello?